let's see if I can take you down the rabbit hole and make you a believer. Okay. When you stand in front of people on a stage at TED Talk, what you're doing is, if you've done your job well, is you're doing sequential design. How does this story begin? What are the main points in the story that are going to be valuable to the audience who shows up? And how will you summarize all of this so that the lessons you wish to teach or to share become crystal clear? And so I found that when I was designing my keynote presentations, that I was actually pretty good at this. And then when I was thinking and reflecting back, like, how do I know how to do this? Because I just started doing presentation design a few years ago. Well, if you look at a keynote deck, what is it? It's a series of images and text, sometimes with video and sound, meant to communicate an idea. So I got really good. I was able to move things around just like I did in my class with my students. Like, you know what? This is too deep into the deck. You need to bring this up front because I'm really not that interested in frames 1 to 10. So that idea of drama, you've created no rhetorical questions to ask the audience. You didn't ask them to participate in this, and you're just talking to them. So questions like, imagine if, excite people because they can't help themselves. They start to immediately imagine something. Imagine if what you're wearing was a banana. Imagine if your shoes are 4 times too big. How difficult would it be for you to walk around? Right? Imagine if everything that you saw in life, the text was 4 points too small. How would that make you feel? So those are kinds of the questions that escalate interest, and they're like, oh, I'm becoming really interested in this. What's really interesting too, as I get deeper into designing my presentations, is life, not just presentations, is about the transitions. If you help people with the transitions, the moments where it feels very jarring and they can't connect the two moments, you ease them into that. And I'll give you an example. And I learned this through my therapist. My kids, they're running around the house. I have 2 boys, and they're doing whatever they're doing. They're playing, they're drawing, whatever it is they want to do. But seemingly to them, very arbitrarily, an adult will walk in the room and say, it's time for you to go to sleep. And they look back up at you like, what? Who said that? I was having a really good time right now. And then they have a fit. Because the transition was 0. It was having fun, doing my jam, enjoying my life, and some idiot tall person comes into the room and tells them stop doing that arbitrarily. Because why? Their sense of time is very different than ours. So my therapist taught me this. It's very easy. It's like, you need to bridge this. So what I do is half an hour before I tell them to go to bed, I come into the room and say, it looks like you're having a really good time. I just want to let you know in about 30 minutes, I'm going to come in here and tell you, you got to go to sleep. So plan yourself accordingly. So we're going to start to wind down, and I'm going to come in 5 minutes and tell you 5 minutes before you have to go to bed, it's time to go to bed. So those transitions really help. Those transitions help in a presentation. You have an idea or a personal story, and you have this graph. They don't make sense to anybody but you. You have to thread those two things together. You change the graph to tie with the story. And this is information graphics design 101. Or you change the story so that it hits the graph just right. So sequential design, the transitions, the moments between the moments are very important to many, many things besides the visual arts.